Salty breakfast cereals may sound harmless, even unusual, but they represent one of the most deceptive threats for people with high blood pressure. Breakfast is a time when many assume they are making healthy choices. After all, cereal is marketed as quick, wholesome, and even heart-friendly. Yet hidden in many boxes, especially savory varieties or those designed to taste more like snacks than breakfast, lurks a heavy sodium load that can sabotage blood pressure control before the day has even truly begun. The problem is that cereal, by design, is eaten in bowls, often larger than the serving size listed on the box. That means if a single serving contains 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium, a typical person who fills their bowl generously may end up consuming 500 to 600 milligrams or more. For someone with hypertension, that is an enormous, unnecessary burden placed on the cardiovascular system at the very start of the day. The danger of salty cereals goes beyond the immediate sodium spike. Blood pressure naturally rises in the morning hours as part of the body's circadian rhythm, preparing us for activity and alertness. When a sodium-heavy cereal is consumed at breakfast, it exaggerates this natural rise, putting even more strain on the arteries and heart when they are already working harder. This sets the tone for the rest of the day: higher blood volume, stiffer arteries, and elevated pressure that lingers for hours. Instead of breakfast being a meal that stabilizes and supports energy, salty cereal can turn it into a trigger that pushes blood pressure into unsafe territory before the person has even left the house. The hidden nature of sodium in cereal makes it especially insidious. People expect processed meats, soups, or fast food to be salty, but very few anticipate that cereal, a food often advertised with bright fruit, wholesome grains, and healthy labels, would contain high amounts of sodium. This false sense of safety makes people less vigilant, allowing them to eat these cereals daily without realizing the cumulative damage. Even supposedly healthy, whole-grain cereals can contain significant sodium if they are flavored, toasted, or marketed as savory or crunchy. In many cases, sodium is added not just for taste but also as a preservative to extend shelf life. The result is that something as routine as pouring a bowl of cereal can quietly add up to thousands of milligrams of sodium over the course of a week, steadily raising blood pressure without any warning signs. Another overlooked issue is that salty cereals are often paired with other foods that compound the risk. Cheese-topped eggs, salted butter on toast, or even processed deli meats added to breakfast plates can all combine with the sodium from cereal to deliver a morning sodium overload. And because cereal portions are often underestimated, many people also add extra toppings like cheese, salty nuts, or even savory spreads, which push sodium intake even higher. The kidneys are forced into overdrive early in the day, and for those with hypertension, this is especially dangerous because their organs are already under pressure from years of elevated blood force. Over time, this repeated daily strain accelerates kidney damage and makes blood pressure harder and harder to control. The long-term consequences of eating salty cereals regularly are bleak. Instead of being a meal that reduces cardiovascular risk, breakfast becomes a contributor to it. High sodium intake at the start of each day contributes to chronic hypertension, fluid retention, arterial stiffness, and higher risk of stroke. It undermines the very concept of a healthy start, turning breakfast into a silent accomplice in the development of cardiovascular disease. For people who trust labels or rely on convenience, the damage may continue unnoticed for years until it manifests as a heart attack, kidney failure, or hypertensive crisis. The irony is particularly bitter because many cereals advertise themselves as beneficial for heart health due to fiber or whole grain content. While fiber may help digestion and cholesterol levels, its benefits are completely overshadowed if each serving also delivers a sodium load capable of spiking blood pressure. For someone with hypertension, those supposed benefits become a hollow promise, as the net effect of eating such cereals is still negative for cardiovascular health. It is a perfect example of how clever marketing can mask real dangers, lulling people into habits that actively undermine their well-being. Ultimately, salty breakfast cereals are not just a minor dietary misstep, they are a serious risk factor for people with high blood pressure because they hide in plain sight, disguised as a healthy staple. Every bowl is another jolt of sodium into the bloodstream at a time when blood pressure is already naturally rising. This creates an invisible yet powerful push toward long-term damage. For hypertensive individuals, avoiding these cereals entirely or scrutinizing labels with extreme care is the only safe approach. Otherwise, the innocent-looking morning ritual of cereal could quietly carve the path to devastating cardiovascular outcomes.